The signal in a small, quiet lab on the far edge of Earth's orbit, a human named Jack worked alone. He was a brilliant engineer known for building machines that even big corporations couldn't understand. He didn't care about money or fame. He only wanted to explore the stars and discover what no one else could. His home was a self-made space station called Nova 1, floating silently above the blue planet. Surrounded by blinking lights, half-finished machines, and stacks of old tech, Jack wore a dusty jumpsuit and goggles pushed up on his forehead. Anything new on the deep space scan?" he asked his assistant, a floating orb called Nora. "Nothing but static," Nora replied in her calm, robotic voice. "Same as yesterday." Jack sighed and leaned back. Maybe the galaxy is just empty. But then, the static changed. Sudden, sharp beep echoed through the lab. Jack sat up. A strange repeating signal blinked across the screen. It wasn't from Earth, Mars, or any known colony. The code was old, broken, like it had been drifting for years. "That's not human," Jack whispered. Nora scanned the data. "Source unknown. Signal type, emergency beacon. Distress call in alien frequency." Jack's heart raced. This was real. This was what he had been waiting for. "Show me the coordinates." The screen zoomed in on a distant part of the galaxy, and the uncharted system beyond any current map. "Too far," Nora said. "Danger level high. Survival odds, 27%. Jack smiled. "Still better than my last experiment." He ran to the dock where his small ship, the Starhawk, was waiting. Patched together from scrap and genius, the ship was fast, light, and packed with hidden tech. "You're not serious," Nora said, floating behind him. "Jack, this is not your job. You're an engineer, not a hero." "Maybe," Jack said, strapping in, "but someone out there is asking for help." He launched from Nova 1. The stars blurred into lines as the ship jumped into hyperspace. After several hours, the Starhawk dropped out near the source of the signal. Everything was quiet. Too quiet. Jack looked around. Broken metal, drifting ships, and small pieces of wreckage floated like ghost bones. The signal was stronger here, but now it felt wrong, like it had been used to bait someone. "Careful, Jack," Nora warned. "I'm picking up movement." Before he could react, something flashed in the distance. Enemy ships approaching. 10, no, 12. Tiny insect-like drones zipped toward him, firing plasma bursts. Jack dodged left, then right, diving toward a nearby moon covered in thick clouds. "Hang on," he muttered, pulling levers. The ship raced through the clouds and crash-landed on the surface with a loud boom. The engines hissed and sparked. Jack climbed out, coughing. "Great. Now I'm stuck." But then, he heard something, a soft beep. The signal was stronger here, just a few meters away. He followed it through the gray dust until he reached a small canyon. At the bottom, hidden behind rocks and vines, was a metal cage. Inside was someone. A figure, glowing faintly blue, sat slumped against the wall. Her skin shimmered under the moonlight. She had silver markings on her arms and wore a damaged robe made of some alien fabric. An alien. No, a royal one. Jack slid down carefully. "Hey, are you alive?" The figure stirred, lifting her head. Her eyes were bright violet, and her expression was full of fear and exhaustion. "Who are you?" she asked in a weak voice. "Names. Jack, I got your signal, came to help." She backed away. "You're human. Yeah, sorry. It's not contagious," Jack said with a small smile. "You're safe now." She looked at him, unsure. "My name is Lyra," she whispered. "Princess of the Zillari Empire." Jack blinked. "Wait, princess? They captured me. My own people turned against me. If they find me, they'll kill us both." Jack looked up at the sky. The drones were scanning the area again. He could hear the distant hum. "Then we better move. Now." He helped her stand. She was weak, but proud. Her eyes held years of pain, but also strength. As they climbed out of the canyon, Jack's ship lit up in the distance. Half broken, smoking, but still alive. "We've got one shot," Jack said. Hope you're not afraid of tight spaces. Lyra smiled faintly. After what I've been through, this is nothing. But just as they reached the ship, a loud alarm went off. Red lights blinked from the edge of the moon. Nora's voice echoed through Jack's comms. Jack, they found us. The royal prisoner, Jack's heart pounded as he helped Lyra through the smoke. His ship, Starhawk, was damaged but not dead. Lights blinked wildly on the console as he helped her into the seat. Nora, status? He asked, voice sharp. Critical damage to left thruster. Backup systems holding. Hostiles inbound in 70 seconds. Jack glanced at Lyra. She was weak, her breathing uneven. Her blue skin was bruised and a small silver crown was cracked on her forehead. Hang on, princess, he muttered. We're not done yet. He flipped 3 switches, pulled a lever, and kicked the control panel hard. The engine screamed, coughed, and finally roared back to life. The ship lifted, just as a wave of drones shot through the clouds. They barely cleared the surface. Pew, pew. Lasers hissed past the window. The ship rocked. One drone hit the rear engine. They're not trying to destroy us, Jack said, frowning. They're trying to force us down. Lyra looked at him, still weak. They want me alive. Why? She didn't answer right away. Instead, she reached into her robe and pulled out a small, glowing crystal. This, she said, this is the key to the throne. Whoever holds it rules the Zalari Empire. Jack stared. You're carrying that thing around in your pocket? Lyra gave a tired smile. It's more than it looks. The ship shook violently. Nora interrupted. Course locked. Destination. Hidden coordinates transmitting from the crystal. Estimated arrival in 2 hours. Good, Jack said. Let's get you somewhere. Safe. But Lyra shook her head. No place is safe now. The Starhawk drifted into deep space, toward an unknown system. Jack took a breath and turned toward her. Tell me everything, he said. And she did. Lyra was born into the Zalari Royal, family rulers of a powerful alien empire spread across galaxies. For generations, the royal bloodline controlled a source of power called the Core Flame, ancient energy locked inside the throne crystal. But when her father died, a traitor rose from within, General Savok. He was once our protector, she said softly. He said he wanted peace, but he lied. Savok launched a silent coup, killed the council, and tried to force Lyra to hand over the crystal. When she refused, he ordered her execution. But a loyal servant helped her escape with the crystal and sent a secret beacon across space. The one Jack answered. So let me get this straight, Jack said, leaning back. You're a hunted alien princess with the galaxy's most powerful artifact, and now a psycho warlord wants your head. Correct. And I'm... What? Your chauffeur? You are much more, Lyra said, staring into his eyes. You're my only chance. Jack didn't say anything. He just stared at the stars. Suddenly Nora's voice rang out again. Unknown signal detected. Unregistered ship matching Zalari war design approaching fast. Jack's face went pale. How did they find us on the crystal? Lyra whispered. It's a beacon. You couldn't have told me that earlier? Before they could argue more, the enemy ship appeared. Sleek, black, and massive. Far bigger than Starhawk. It launched small hunter drones that began scanning space. Jack knew they couldn't win a direct fight. Nora, hide us. Initiating. Cloak, the AI said. The ship shimmered and faded into invisible mode, but it wouldn't last long. They were bleeding energy. Then Lyra did something unexpected. She took the crystal and pressed it into the ship's main console. A deep hum filled the cabin. Jack's dashboard lit up. Strange alien symbols appeared, mixing with his human tech. What are you doing? He asked. Trust me, Lyra whispered. The ship pulsed. Engines roared stronger. Suddenly, it wasn't just Starhawk anymore. It became something new, something powerful. With new controls, Jack steered the ship toward a hidden moon behind a gas cloud. The enemy ship followed, scanning madly. Jack entered the cloud, vanishing. Inside, they'll find us, Lyra said. Not if we give them something else to chase. Jack used the alien interface to launch a fake energy signal in the opposite direction. The enemy sensors took the bait and chased the wrong trail. The Starhawk slipped away, silent and unseen. They landed on the far side of the moon, barren, gray, and dead silent. Jack shut down the systems to cool the ship. Inside the quiet cabin, he turned to Lyra again. So what now? She looked tired, but calm. You found me. You saved me. But this is just the beginning. What do you mean? Lyra looked up at him. I am the rightful ruler of the Zilari. And now, you are part of this war. Jack's mouth tightened. He wasn't a soldier. He built things, fixed things. But deep down he knew. He couldn't walk away now. Not when the galaxy was on the edge of chaos. Not when someone trusted him to save it. Suddenly, a blinking red light appeared on the console. Nora's voice came again, cold and serious. Jack, there's something you need to see. A hologram appeared, a bounty, Jack's face, his name, his location, target, human engineer, reward, 10 million credits, dead or alive. Jack stared at it. Lyra said nothing. Then Jack smiled slowly. Looks like I'm famous now. Escape protocol. The silence inside the Starhawk didn't last long. Outside the dusty window, a dead moon stretched across the sky. Cold, gray, forgotten. Inside, Jack stared at the glowing hologram of his face spinning slowly above the dashboard. The bounty was real. 10 million credits. Dead or alive. He rubbed his chin, then gave a tired laugh. Well, at least they didn't ask for my head in a jar. Lyra didn't smile. She sat quietly, clutching the glowing crystal close to her chest. This is only the beginning, she said. General Savok won't stop. He'll burn entire worlds to take the crystal. Jack stood up and began pacing the ship. We can't stay here. Your signal is out there. Bounty hunters will come. Scavengers, mercs, even desperate civilians. Nora's voice echoed through. The ship calm but urgent. Warning. 2 ships detected entering local orbit. No identification codes. Cloaking will fail in 9 minutes. Jack slammed his hand on the wall. They're already here. Then we run, Lyra said firmly. Jack shook his head. The engine's too damaged. We need time to fix it. But Lyra had a different idea. She reached toward the alien interface on the wall, the one that connected to her crystal. She touched it again. Suddenly, the ship responded. Lights pulsed. Energy surged. And then, a small panel slid open near the back of the ship. What is that? Jack asked. Emergency escape protocol, Lyra replied. This ship has Zilari memory now. It remembers how to hide, how to escape, how to fight. Behind the panel, a sleek one-person escape pod with alien tech surrounding it. Small, fast, almost invisible on scanners. You want me to leave? Jack asked. No, she said. You're sending me. Jack stared at her. That's insane. They want me. If I stay, we both die. But if I leave, I can lead them away. Give you time to fix the ship. He shook his head. Absolutely not. You're not a decoy. You're the only reason I'm still here. And you're the only one who can finish this, she said, stepping forward. Her violet eyes locked on his. You're not just an engineer. You're something else. Your ship, your tech, your mind. No one in my empire could do what you've done in days. Jack looked at the pod, then at the damaged engine, then at her. And for a moment time seemed to freeze. He didn't want to send her, but he knew she was right. All right, he said quietly. But I'm tracking you the whole time. You run into trouble, I'll come back with hellfire. Lyra nodded. She stepped into the pod and placed the crystal into the core slot. It locked in with a soft chime. Destination? Jack asked. An ancient vault, hidden on a planet called Kynar C. The Empire doesn't even know it exists anymore. Jack sealed the pod. Go. I'll see you there. As the pod launched silently into space, Jack watched it disappear among the stars. He didn't say a word, but deep inside something changed. Back on the moon, Jack had exactly 10 minutes before cloaking failed. He got to work. Wires sparked, steam hissed. He crawled under the console, pulling out panels and fusing new parts using leftover alien tech. His fingers moved like lightning. Sweat dripped from his forehead. He didn't stop. 5 minutes remaining, Nora said. Boost. Power to rear shielding, Jack ordered. And find that tracking signal. We can't let anyone trace Lyra's escape. Nora paused. Jack, the signal isn't coming from the ship. He froze. What? The tracker. It's inside. You? Jack's eyes widened. He ripped open a med kit, grabbed a scanner, and waved it over his arm. The screen blinked red, a foreign implant, and small, microscopic, attached to his bloodstream. They tagged me? Suddenly everything made sense. The bounty, the fast response, the perfect timing. They knew where he was before he landed. How the hell did he stopped? The prison chamber, the rescue, the explosion. Someone planted it during the escape. Nora cut comms. Full silence mode. Now. Done. He raced to the med bay, grabbed a surgical tool, and began cutting. No time for anesthesia. Blood dripped. His vision blurred, but he got it out. A small black chip, barely the size of a grain of sand. He dropped it in a metal cup, fried it with a plasma torch, and collapsed to the floor. Outside, 2 ships landed, on the moon. Figures in dark armor emerged, scanning the area. He was here, one said. His signal stopped. They know. Search the wreckage, said the leader. His voice was harsh and mechanical. If the girl is gone, kill the engineer. Inside the Starhawk, Jack reactivated systems. The engine still whined, but it was alive. Let's see what you can really do, he whispered. He redirected all power to front boosters, reversed the stabilizers, and fired. The ship shot forward, not up but down into the canyon. Enemy ships followed instantly, thinking he was panicking. But Jack wasn't running, he was leading them. At the bottom of the canyon, he activated a new weapon, something built from human scrap and alien design. Say hello to Junkstorm, he grinned. Behind him, hidden in the walls, dozens of magnetic mines activated. Debris, wires, fuel cells, all pulled into a vortex and launched upward. Enemy ships flew right into it. Explosions shook the canyon walls. Jack pulled up, blasted out of the trench, and disappeared into orbit. Nora beeped. Nice work. We're not done yet, Jack said. Set course for Canarsie. As the Starhawk disappeared into the stars, Jack stared out the window. Hang on, princess, he whispered. I'm coming. The price of help. The stars. Twisted and stretched outside the Starhawk's cracked window. Jack stared at the star map on his console. 1 point blinking red. Kynar Xi. A dead planet. No atmosphere. No trade routes. No colonies. Just dust, ice, and secrets. Jack didn't know what to expect. All he had was a name and a destination carved into the alien crystal by Lyra. But he trusted her. More than he trusted anyone. Nora's voice cut through the silence. We're 5 minutes away. Life signs. None. Power signals. Unknown. Heavily. Encrypted. Jack leaned back in his chair. Just how I like it, nice and creepy. He looked at his arm. Still wrapped in bandages from where he'd cut out the tracker. He remembered Lyra's face. Her voice. The fire in her eyes when she said, You're part of this now. He never asked for a war. But it found him anyway, as the Starhawk dropped out of hyperspace. Jack saw Canarsie for the first time. A cold, lifeless ball of rock and dust. Its surface cracked like dry skin. No clouds. No color. But beneath the planet's crust, something pulsed. A signal. Faint, but steady. Like a heartbeat. Jack followed it. He landed on a narrow ridge near a deep crater. There was no sky. No wind. Just silence. He stepped out in his pressure suit, boots crunching on the frozen ground. He carried a handheld scanner, modified with alien code. It blinked once, then twice. The signal was close. He climbed down into the crater and found something impossible. A door, buried in stone, ancient, glowing with symbols. It opened without sound. Inside, a massive underground vault, walls of black metal, floating lights, strange machines powered by the same crystal energy as Lyra's artifact. "What is this place?" Jack whispered. A voice answered. "Welcome, bearer of the flame." Jack spun around, weapon drawn. But it wasn't a person. It was a hologram, tall-robed, faceless. "Who are you?" Jack asked. "I am the Sentinel," the voice replied. "Guardian of the vault. I have waited 900 years for a new flame-bearer." "I'm not the flame-bearer," Jack said. "She is. And yet you carry her mark, her trust, her code. That makes you worthy." The room shifted, machines activated. Holograms of the Zalari Empire appeared in the air. Planets, fleets, wars, betrayals. Jack saw Lyra as a child. Her father, General Savak. The moment of betrayal. He saw the crystal passed from ruler to ruler, until now. "The Empire is at war with itself," the Sentinel said. "And you, human, are the unexpected variable." "I just fixed a ship," Jack said. "Now I'm part of an empire's history." "You repaired more than a ship," the voice said. "You revived a legacy, but power has a price." The floor opened beneath him. Jack fell, not down, but into a memory. Suddenly, he was standing in a city made of light and metal. Towers floated in the sky. Zalari people walked below, peaceful and proud. Then the sky turned red. Ships fell. Bombs exploded. The people screamed. At the center, Jack saw General Savak, taller than before, armored, glowing with corrupted crystal energy. He raised his hand. Whole buildings shattered. The Sentinel's voice echoed. "This is one possible future, if the flame is taken by force." Jack watched as a giant statue of Lyra crumbled to dust. He gasped and fell to his knees. "Stop it," he said. "This isn't real." "Not yet," the voice replied. "But soon." Jack snapped back to reality. The vault lights dimmed. "You must choose," the Sentinel said. "Protect the flame, or let it burn you." Jack stood slowly. "I'll protect it," he said. "Whatever it takes." The vault opened a final door, revealing a chamber with alien armor and tech floating above it. A fusion core, part human, part Zalari, built for one purpose: to amplify the bearer's power. Jack stepped forward, placed his hand on the core. Energy surged through him. Visions flashed in his mind. He saw hundreds of futures, thousands of stars, and one war approaching like a storm. Then, silence. Jack fell backward, breathing hard. Nora's voice came through the comms again. "Jack, we have a problem." He stumbled back to the ship, climbed inside, sat at the console. "What is it now?" "There's a ship entering orbit," she said. "Big one." He looked at the screen. A massive black battleship. Alien symbols along its hull. But this time it wasn't drones or hunters. This was a command ship, and on the screen appeared a face Jack didn't expect to see. General Savak, eyes like burning coals, voice like thunder. "Hello, engineer," he said. "You've caused quite the mess." Jack's blood ran cold. "She trusted you, a mistake I will correct." "She's gone," Jack lied. "Perhaps," Savak said. "But you're not, and now I want my crystal." Jack leaned forward, his voice steady. "Come get it." Broken alliance. Jack had been in tight spots before. Engines on fire, low oxygen, bounty hunters at his door. But this was different. He sat inside the Starhawk, staring at the face of General Savak on the cracked screen. The warlord's eyes were glowing with unnatural fire. His voice rumbled like thunder. "You've touched something that doesn't belong to you," Savak said. "You're just a tool, engineer. Nothing more." Jack didn't blink. "Tools build things," he replied. "I'm building your nightmare." Savak's smile vanished. He raised a hand and the signal cut out. Nora's voice came in. Jack, 10 drop pods just launched from the enemy command ship. Target, your position. Jack didn't wait. He activated the vault's defense protocol. Huge metal doors began sealing behind him as he sprinted through the tunnels, heading back to the surface. Outside, the air shimmered as pods broke through Kynar C's thin atmosphere. They hit the ground, like meteors kicking up dust and fire. From each pod stepped an elite auxiliary trooper. Black armor, glowing weapons, emotionless masks. Trained to kill, and they were not here to talk. Inside the Starhawk, Jack moved fast. He activated every trap he had. Pressure mines, EMP bursts, stealth drones, smoke bombs. Each one bought him time. But he knew time wouldn't be enough. Not against them. Nora, is the fusion core stable? He asked. Barely. It's running at 67%. You'll get 1 boost. Maybe 2. Jack nodded. Then I'll make them count. He strapped on the vault armor, a hybrid suit built from his own tech and auxiliary design. Light, flexible, glowing with blue lines across his chest. As the first enemy breached the hatch, Jack dropped a plasma disc at their feet and flipped backward over the railing. Boom. The corridor lit up with fire. Jack dashed through the smoke, weapon drawn, a rifle he'd built himself from scrap but now powered by alien energy. He fired at a second soldier. The impact sent the trooper flying across the wall, but they kept coming. Silent, perfect, unstoppable. Meanwhile, somewhere across the galaxy, on a hidden freighter drifting near a dying star, Lyra sat quietly. She stared at a small screen. Jack's image blinked. The signal was weak. He's in danger, she whispered. Her pilot, a loyal Zalari rebel named Ven, frowned. We can't go back, Princess. The Empire thinks you're dead. If they find you, I'm not hiding while he dies for me, Lyra snapped. You'll doom us both. Then we go together. She activated the old nav beacon. Set course. For Kynar Z. I'm taking back what's mine. Back on Kynar Z, Jack was losing ground. His armor was scorched. His leg bled from a deep plasma wound. His rifle was nearly empty. He reached the edge of the vault's platform, breathing hard. 6 soldiers surrounded him. Behind them, the command ship hovered like a shadow. Then, a voice echoed from the platform above. Enough. The soldiers froze. A new figure dropped from the sky. Taller, armored, glowing. General Savik himself. His eyes burned red. His body hummed with the stolen energy of the flame. He walked slowly toward Jack, like a lion circling a wounded animal. You've done well, human, Savik said, but you're not one of us. Jack tried to stand, but his knees buckled. He raised his weapon again. Don't flatter yourself, he said. You're just another warlord with a crown you didn't earn. Savik smiled coldly. Tell me, did she tell you the truth? Jack frowned. What truth? Savik raised his hand. A new hologram appeared, one Jack had never seen. In it, Lyra stood before a council, flames behind her, the crystal in her hands. They must never know, she said. If the humans find out we use them, they'll never forgive us. Jack's eyes widened. What is this? Savik stepped closer. Your precious princess. She was part of the plan. The humans were always meant to be pawns. Their tech, their bravery, their lives. You're lying. Am I? Savik turned the hologram off. Ask her yourself. If you survive. He raised his hand, his palm glowing with crystal energy. A blast of pure power shot toward Jack, enough to vaporize a tank. Jack closed his eyes. And then, boom! A second blast, not from Savik but from the sky. A bright blue streak crashed down between them. A ship, Lyra's ship. The ramp lowered and she stepped out, armored, glowing, angry. He's not alone, she said. Jack stared at her, confused, betrayed, relieved. We'll talk later, she said, helping him up. Right now, let's finish this. They stood side by side, engineer and empress, 2 against an empire. In orbit, Hundreds of ships began to move, some Zalari loyal to Savak, some rebels answering Lyra's secret call. War was coming. And Jack, he wasn't just a human anymore. He was a symbol. The reward. The battlefield on Kinar Sea was silent. Ash floated in the air like snow. Broken metal lay scattered across the surface. Zalari troopers, once fierce and loyal to Savak, now fled or surrendered. Jack stood at the edge of a shattered ridge, his armor dented and smoking. Lyra beside him, crown flickering with crystal light, her robe torn but her posture straight. They had won, for now, but victory always leaves behind more questions than answers. Above them, in the orbit of the dead planet, 100 ships hovered. Rebel cruisers, rogue traders, and most importantly the Zalari Royal flagship, once Savok's, now returned to Lyra. "They're waiting for you," Jack said. Lyra nodded, but didn't move. "You should go," he added. "They'll want to see the crystal." The heir returned, the Empire reborn. She turned to him, eyes uncertain. "They'll want more than that." Jack frowned. "What do you mean?" "They'll want to thank you." An hour later, Jack stood in the center of the great chamber aboard the royal flagship. Alien lights danced across the ceiling. Zalari nobles and rebel generals formed a wide circle around him, weapons lowered, voices silent. Lyra entered behind him, holding the flame crystal high. A beam of blue light rose from the floor and met the crystal in her hand. The ancient energy filled the chamber, humming like a storm contained in a bottle. "This human," Lyra declared, "did what no Zalari ever could. He rescued the last of our line, restored our vault, and stood against a warlord alone." Jack shifted awkwardly. He didn't like crowds. He hated politics. "Jack," Lyra said, walking forward, "by Zalari law you are owed a life debt by the royal house, a wish. Any wish. Wealth, weapons, command of a fleet." Jack raised a hand. "Stop." Everyone stared. "I don't want money," he said, "and I don't need a fleet." He stepped forward, looking at the flame crystal. "I want access to your tech, to your archives, to your ideas, not for war, not to rule, but to build something better." A few nobles whispered. A general stepped forward. "We cannot give a human access to the archives," he growled. "Not even this one." Jack turned toward him, eyes sharp. "You gave Savak access. And look, where that led you." Silence. Lyra stepped between them. "His request is granted," she said. But Jack could tell something had changed. Later, in a private chamber, Lyra and Jack stood alone. She looked tired, older somehow. "You surprised them," she said. "Not sure that's a good thing." "You embarrassed them," she added. "You reminded them that a human saved our future." Jack leaned on the table. Was Savak lying? About what? About you. About the plan to use humans. About what the Empire wanted. Lyra didn't speak for a long time. Then she said quietly, "Before the war, yes, the Council had plans. The human colonies were growing fast. Too fast. Some wanted to slow your progress. Control your spread." Jack's jaw clenched. "And you?" "I didn't agree," she said. "That's why they didn't trust me, and maybe why Savok acted when he did." He looked at her carefully. "So this was never just about saving you. It was about saving an empire that saw us as a problem." "Not anymore," Lyra whispered. "Because now they know what you can do." Jack turned to leave. "Where will you go?" she asked. "Somewhere quiet," he said. "Build something real, something free. I could use someone like you here." "I know," Jack said. "But you don't need a symbol. You need a leader." He stepped into the hallway, armor still, humming with energy, and paused. Nora's voice buzzed in his earpiece. "Jack, encrypted message just arrived. From who? Unknown source. But it's human. Someone from the outer colonies." Jack's heart jumped. "Play it." A voice came through, static, broken, scared. This is Commander Ellis of the Talon Colony. We've been attacked. Not by Xilari, by something else. Jack, if you're out there, we need you. Jack stared into space. Whatever peace he thought he'd earned was already slipping away. Back in the chamber, Lyra stood alone. A shadow stepped forward from the far corner. An old Xilari noble with one eye and a twisted cane. You trust the human too much, the elder said. If he turns against us, he won't, Lyra said. You said the same about Savok. The elder tossed a small device onto the table. A tracker. Blinking. We planted this before the war began, just in case. Lyra stared at it, then turned away. Outside the window, Jack's ship left the royal fleet. Small, silent, fast, heading toward a new war, and the galaxy watched. Because the engineer who saved a queen might be the one who destroys a king next, the new engineer. This part delivers a cinematic climax filled with suspense, power, betrayal, and a decision that could reshape the galaxy. Jack's story ends where it truly begins. Not as a soldier, not as a hero, but as something entirely new. Written in simple third-person English, long and emotionally layered for narration, voiceover, or visual adaptation. 1 week later, edge of known space. Jack floated above the surface of Talon, a once bustling human colony now reduced to ash and smoke. Blackened towers leaned into the dust. The sky was thick with fire. Bodies were buried beneath twisted metal and melted stone. This wasn't a war. This was a message. Nora's voice buzzed softly in his helmet. There are no survivors. The attackers used weapons that match no known tech. Jack hovered lower. His boots hit the ground with a dull thud. He crouched beside a shattered satellite dish and ripped the casing open. Inside, something blinked red. Jack, Nora said again. This isn't Xilari. Jack already knew. The damage was too clean, too precise, and too human. Meanwhile, Xilari Royal Court Lyra sat alone in her throne room. Crystal lights floated above her like stars trapped in glass. The court had gone silent since Jack left. Some nobles whispered that he was a threat. Some called him a myth, but Lyra knew better. He was out there, watching, learning, and now he was angry. Jack's ship, secret orbit, planet Zara 9. Play it again, Jack said. Nora repeated the message from Talon's distress signal. Attacked, unknown human fleet. Not Xilari, controlled by someone else. He calls himself the Architect. Jack sat still. He'd heard that name once before, on an old comms channel from a black market tech dealer. The Architect was a ghost, a myth among deep space engineers. A man who had once worked for humanity's defense sector, then vanished. Some said he built ships that could disappear. Others said he created a machine that could rewrite gravity. Jack had always thought it was a lie. Now, he wasn't so sure. He opened his arm panel. One glowing line blinked at the edge of the screen. A signal buried deep. A personal invitation. From the Architect himself. Come find me, Jack. Let's finish what we started. 3 days later, inside the Architect's fortress, Jack entered. A structure hidden inside an asteroid field. Walls of spinning metal. Gravity pulses. Drones watching every step. And at the center, a single man. Tall, silver-eyed, mechanical veins running up his neck. Jack, the flame-bearer, the fixer of things. The killer of empires, Jack said. The Architect smiled. Not yet, but soon. He walked in slow circles. You've seen what Lyra's empire is becoming. Same greed, same hierarchy. She wears a crystal crown, but she's surrounded by vipers. They fear you. They track you. Jack said nothing. You saved her. And what did they give you? Access to dead tech and a polite thank you. He leaned closer. I'm offering you something else. Join me. Rebuild the galaxy. No kings, no queens, no empires, just creators. Jack studied him. His tech, his aura, his voice. It was all convincing, all tempting. "And what's your price?" Jack asked. "You give me the flame." Lyra's. "Crystal. Her key. We'll use it to power a machine that deletes the old order." Jack stepped back. "So you want me to burn down the galaxy?" "No," the architect said. "I want you to build a better one." Back on the royal flagship, urgent council meeting, Nora broke into the chamber's transmission feed. Message from Jack. Lyra stood on the screen. Jack's face appeared, distant, unreadable. "I found the one behind the Talon attack. It wasn't Savok's followers. It was human, ex-human, something worse." "Who?" Lyra asked. "A man called the Architect. He wants your crystal. He wants to erase everything, including you." A pause. "I didn't say yes." Another pause. "But I didn't say no either." And the feed cut. Final confrontation. Deep space, unknown coordinates. The Architect's fleet met the Zalari Royal Armada near a black star. Lyra stood on the bridge, armor glowing. Jack appeared beside her, not fully with her, not fully against her. "You chose her," the Architect said, appearing on a massive screen between both fleets. "No," Jack replied. "I chose what comes next." Jack activated the vault suit. A blinding energy pulse burst from his chest. He didn't just link to the flame crystal. He became the conduit. Using his own body, mind, and tech, he rewrote the flame's programming, severing its connection to royalty. Rewriting it as an open-source code for all intelligent species. Xalari, human, and more. A weapon no longer. Now, a shared power. Lyra fell to her knees. "What did you do?" Jack turned to her. "I gave everyone a chance." The Architect screamed. His ships opened fire. Jack stepped forward and raised both hands. The fusion of flame and logic responded. The attacks collapsed in midair, twisted into light, and scattered. Jack stood alone between two empires, no longer engineer or soldier. He was something new, the one who hacked the stars. They called it the Accord of Kynar, a treaty between humans, Xalari, and other fringe species who once fought for scraps. They built stations together, repaired lost planets, shared knowledge. Jack refused a throne. He vanished again. Only whispers remained. Some say he lives in a rogue station called Sparkfall. Others say he went beyond the edge of the galaxy to build a new kind of world. But all agree on one thing. When the galaxy was on the edge of collapse, a human engineer didn't just fix what was broken. He rewrote everything. The end.